Well, I started to do a little refining and then figured, heck, why don't I videotape that as well? So a couple things I'm going to shift to now is that I know that these edges are not actually there. They were helping me place everything, all the different shelves, and gauge the widths and whatnot. I'm using my kneaded eraser to just kind of erase away the front edge of the shelf that is sort of mostly just taken up by my thick sketch lines. One thing I want to think about is, since this is flat, that if these are evenly spaced, then they should be pretty much just the inverse of each other width-wise. So that distance should be about the same as that distance. Not worrying about shading, just still thinking of overall placement and proportion. And if the angles of these edges make sense within this little world that I'm creating. Do want to make sure that I don't lose those being a consistent width. When you're measuring with your pencil, it is helpful to to make sure that if you are trying to gauge distances, that you're being consistent in where you start and stop. For example, I could either choose to measure from the bottom to the bottom. Sometimes I imagine sort of the center to the center. And if so, that last one was pretty wacky. Yeah, so this I'm going to raise up. Let's see. It's about from the center to the center. I think that would be about the center. Looks like you're doing okay. I'm talking to my shelves. You look okay. Maybe you should be a little higher. It's getting a little tricky at the angle I'm doing, but just the important thing is to be consistent. do a little general lifting of excess graphite. Heck, maybe I'll even kind of do what I did earlier on. Trying to clean up these front edges. Still want to make sure, even though I sort of erased that line, that these edges aren't, they're still lining up. This one is sort of out there. That seems okay. I'll, like I say, I think I'll refine some more of this off camera, but this is definitely giving you the idea of this phase. You get to a point where it's hard to know how much more you really kind of need to look at your, at least for these shelves. Got the main idea for what I want them to be doing and what they are doing in the photograph, and now I just, more than making sure that they appear exactly like the photograph, I want to make sure that they appear consistent with each other in this world, with this particular set of perspective guides. So yes, I will do a little bit more of this off camera, and be back soon, and I'll take note of anything significant. Make sure to share it with you. Let me see, before I go, I want to make sure that these guys line up. This outside quote-unquote outside edge of that original box front side. And I also just kind of double checking to make sure that these guys line up. Because that would represent sort of the back edge, the back side of a big tall box. So let me pause there for now, and more in a bit.